What if everything we knew about human history was wrong? The story of prehistory is far more complex and interesting than we thought. The conventional view is humans have been around for 200, 300,000 years, but we've only engaged in agriculture for 12,000 years.
That's right, and this is very interesting because it means you have to rethink scale.
Imagine standing before ancient stone structures so immense and precise that they challenge modern engineering. In Baalbek, Lebanon, and Saksaywaman, Peru, colossal blocks weighing hundreds of tons were quarried, transported, and fitted together with such accuracy that not even a blade of grass could fit between them. Could giants, mythical beings with extraordinary strength, have built these incredible megastructures? Or did lost civilizations possess advanced technologies and techniques beyond our understanding? These ancient sites defy our knowledge of history, inviting us to explore the tantalizing mysteries hidden within their massive stones. The ancient city of Baalbek in modern-day Lebanon is home to the Temple of Jupiter, one of the most mysterious and imposing megastructures in the world. Baalbek was known as Heliopolis during the Roman era, but its history dates back much further to the time when the Phoenicians ruled the region. The exact date of Baalbek's construction is unknown, though it is believed that the massive stone platform on which the temple sits predates the Roman temple by several millennia. The site was first extensively documented during the Renaissance by European travelers and archaeologists, including the famous Swiss scholar Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, who visited the site in the early 19th century. Baalbek's most astonishing feature is its platform, constructed from massive stone blocks, the largest of which is known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman. This block weighs an estimated 1,000 tons and measures 21.5 meters long, 4.8 meters wide, and 4.2 meters high. Another block, known as the Stone of the South, weighs approximately 1,200 tons, making it the largest cut stone in the world. The precision with which these stones were quarried, moved, and placed has baffled historians and engineers for centuries. When first uncovered, these colossal stones sparked intense debate among scholars and the general public. Some speculated that they must have been the work of giants, given their size and the apparent lack of technology available at the time to move them. The stones were likely transported from a nearby quarry located a few kilometers away from the site, but the methods used to achieve this feat remain a mystery. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Baalbek site is the sheer size of the blocks used in its construction. To put it into perspective, the Stone of the Pregnant Woman is heavier than the largest stone blocks used in the pyramids of Giza, which weigh around 80 tons each. This means that the builders of Baalbek were working with stones more than 10 times heavier than those used by the ancient Egyptians. Theories abound regarding who built these structures and how they were able to move such massive stones. Some suggest that the Romans, known for their engineering prowess, inherited the site from a much older civilization that possessed advanced technologies or extraordinary physical abilities, possibly giants. This theory is bolstered by the fact that the Romans added their temple on top of an already existing platform, indicating that the site was considered sacred or significant long before their arrival. Speculated that the walls must have been built by giants or with the aid of supernatural forces. The mysterious nature of the site, combined with its impressive scale, led to numerous legends and myths, both among the local indigenous people and the Spanish invaders. One of the most intriguing aspects of Saksaywaman is the precision with which the stones are cut. Each block is unique, with no two stones being identical, yet they fit together perfectly, forming a jigsaw-like pattern that has withstood the test of time and numerous earthquakes. The technique used to achieve this level of precision remains unknown, and even modern engineers struggle to replicate it with today's technology. The stones at Saksaywaman are not only massive but also shaped in a way that suggests advanced knowledge of geometry and engineering. The walls are constructed in a zigzag pattern, which some researchers believe was designed to withstand seismic activity. This indicates that the builders of Saksaywaman had a deep understanding of the natural environment and incorporated this knowledge into their construction techniques. The theory that giants may have been involved in the construction of Saksaywaman is supported by the sheer size of the stones and the difficulty in explaining how they were moved and placed with such precision. Some suggest that giants with their immense strength could have been responsible for the heavy lifting, while humans, possibly under the guidance or supervision of these giants, performed the detailed stone carving and assembly. This theory is further supported by local legends that speak of a race of giants who once inhabited the region. According to these legends, the giants were responsible for building many of the megalithic structures in the area, including Saksaywaman. The legends also describe the giants as being technologically advanced, possessing knowledge and skills far beyond those of the human inhabitants of the time. The exact age of Saksaywaman is still debated. While the mainstream view is that it was built by the Incas in the 15th century, some researchers argue that the site is much older, possibly dating back thousands of years before the Incas. This theory is supported by the weathering patterns on the stones, which suggest a much greater age than previously thought. Conspiracy theories surrounding Saksaywaman often involve the idea of a lost civilization with advanced technology, possibly aided by giants or extraterrestrial beings. Some suggest that the site could have been a power center, using the Earth's natural energies for purposes we do not yet understand. Others believe that Saksaywaman was part of a global network of megalithic sites, connected by an ancient knowledge that has since been lost to history. Saksaywaman could have been a fortress, a ceremonial site, or even a place of astronomical observation. The zigzag pattern of the walls, combined with their strategic location overlooking Cusco, suggests that the site had both defensive and symbolic purposes. Some researchers believe that Saksaywaman was designed to align with celestial events such as solstices and equinoxes, and may have served as a calendar or an observatory. The idea that Saksaywaman was built by both giants and humans working together is supported by the combination of massive stone blocks and intricate, detailed construction techniques. Giants could have provided the raw power needed to move and place the stones, while humans contributed their craftsmanship and knowledge of geometry. This collaborative effort would have allowed for the construction of a site as complex and enduring as Saksaywaman.
The Pyramid of Senusret II at El Lahun, with its unusual weathered appearance, has become a focal point for a wide range of theories, stretching from the truly outlandish to the meticulously researched. This ancient structure, often misrepresented in sensationalized online posts, serves as a fascinating case study in how a single monument can spark such divergent interpretations, reflecting not only the pyramid itself, but also the broader context of ancient Egyptian history and the evolution of archaeological thought. To understand this pyramid, we must navigate a spectrum of ideas, beginning with the most extreme and gradually grounding ourselves in the realm of archaeological evidence, all while considering the historical backdrop against which these interpretations have emerged.
At the most speculative end of the spectrum, we encounter theories that attribute the pyramid's appearance to events far beyond the realm of conventional understanding. These ideas, often fueled by digitally manipulated images and a thirst for the extraordinary, are frequently intertwined with broader scientific narratives about ancient Egypt. But first, let's learn a bit more about the Pyramid of Senusret II, located at El Lahun, also referred to as Ilahun or Kahun, in the Fayum oasis of Egypt, stands as a testament to the power and ingenuity of the Middle Kingdom 2055 to 1650 BC. While not as visually imposing as the famed pyramids of Giza, it holds significant historical and archaeological value, offering insights into the evolving architectural styles, religious practices, and socio-political dynamics of its time. To understand the significance of Senusret II's pyramid, we must first place it within the broader context of the Middle Kingdom. This period followed the First Intermediate Period, a time of political fragmentation and instability that marked the end of the Old Kingdom's centralized rule. The reunification of Egypt under the 11th dynasty, based in Thebes, ushered in the Middle Kingdom. Some propose that the pyramid's melted look is the result of an attack by advanced weaponry wielded either by extraterrestrial visitors or a lost, technologically superior human civilization. This theory often intertwines with the ancient astronaut hypothesis, a fringe belief that posits extraterrestrials played a direct role in the development of human civilization, particularly in the construction of megalithic structures like the pyramids. Proponents of this theory often point to other ancient sites around the world, such as the Nazca Lines in Peru or the statues of Easter Island, claiming they provide further evidence of advanced, non-human engineering. This perspective gained popularity in the mid-20th century, particularly with the publication of Erich von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods, 1968, which, despite being widely criticized by academics for its lack of rigor and misinterpretation of evidence, captured the public imagination. A related theory, often associated with the work of Christopher Dunn in the Giza power plant, 1998, posits that the pyramids were not tombs, but rather ancient power plants utilizing unknown forms of energy. In this scenario, Senusret II's pyramid suffered a catastrophic meltdown, resulting in the damage we see today. This idea often draws on perceived similarities between the pyramid's internal chambers and modern power generation facilities, selectively highlighting features while ignoring others. Proponents sometimes point to the precision of stonework in certain parts of the pyramids, suggesting it could only have been achieved with advanced machinery. Another extreme theory suggests that a massive, unprecedented solar flare, far more powerful than anything observed in modern times, scorched the Earth. This event, it is argued, could have caused widespread fires and even melted rock surfaces, selectively damaging the pyramid. While solar flares are a real phenomenon and powerful ones can disrupt modern technology, there is no scientific evidence to suggest that a flare of the magnitude required to melt stone has ever occurred in recorded history, let alone one that would selectively target a single pyramid. It's important to understand why these theories hold such appeal. They offer simple, exciting explanations for complex phenomena, tapping into a desire for mystery and a sense of wonder about the past. They also often present themselves as challenging, mainstream narratives, appealing to those who are skeptical of established authorities. Moving closer to the realm of possibility, we encounter theories that invoke natural, albeit catastrophic, events to explain the pyramid's appearance. While still speculative, these theories at least operate within the realm of known natural phenomena. A large impact event could theoretically cause significant damage to a structure. The Chicxulub impact, for example, is believed to have caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. However, any impact large enough to affect Senusret II's pyramid would have left unmistakable geological evidence, a substantial crater, an ejector field containing material from the impact, and potentially even evidence of tsunamis or widespread fires if the impact occurred near a body of water. The absence of any such geological markers in the vicinity of El Lahun, or indeed anywhere in Egypt dating to the relevant period, casts serious doubt on this theory. While earthquakes and floods were known occurrences in ancient Egypt and are documented in texts like the Ipuwer Papyrus, dating to the late Middle Kingdom or Second Intermediate period, which describes a period of social upheaval and possibly natural disasters, there's no evidence of a natural disaster of sufficient magnitude to selectively damage the pyramid's core while leaving its overall structure relatively intact. Furthermore, geological records in the region do not support the occurrence of such a catastrophic event during the relevant time period. The Nile's regular flooding, while crucial to Egyptian agriculture, was generally predictable and controlled through irrigation systems, not a source of catastrophic destruction to well-established structures. As we move further along the spectrum, we finally arrive at the explanations grounded in archaeological evidence and historical context. This is where the true story of Senusret II's pyramid begins to unfold, revealing a narrative deeply intertwined with the political and economic realities of the Middle Kingdom. Senusret II's reign, 1897 to 1878 BC, fell within the 12th dynasty, a period of renewed stability and prosperity following the political fragmentation of the First Intermediate period. This era saw a resurgence of royal power, marked by ambitious building projects, the expansion of trade, and significant advancements in art and literature. The construction of pyramids, a tradition that had waned after the Old Kingdom, was revived, albeit with some modifications. Unlike the solid limestone pyramids of the Old Kingdom, such as those at Giza, Senusret II's pyramid employed a core of mud bricks. This was not a sign of technological decline, but rather a pragmatic adaptation to the available resources and economic realities of the time. Mud brick, a readily available material made from Nile earth and chopped straw, as described by 19th century Egyptologist John Shea Perring, was a cost-effective filler. This core was ingeniously built upon a natural limestone mound, further reinforced by a network of large limestone crosswalls radiating outwards, providing structural integrity while minimizing the need for expensive quarried stone. This mud brick core was never intended to be visible. The entire pyramid was originally encased in fine Tura limestone, presenting a smooth, gleaming surface that would have rivaled the grandeur of its Old Kingdom predecessors. This casing served not only an aesthetic purpose, but also a symbolic one, projecting the image of a powerful and stable reign, a key concern for rulers of the Middle Kingdom seeking to reassert royal authority after a period of instability. In the 19th dynasty, some 600 years after Senusret II's reign, Ramesses the Great, a pharaoh known for his extensive building program and penchant for repurposing older monuments, as evidenced by his additions to the temples at Karnak and Luxor, stripped the pyramid of its valuable limestone casing. This act, meticulously documented by Flinders Petrie in his excavations at El Lahun, was not an act of vandalism, but rather a practical decision driven by the need for readily available building materials for Ramesses' own ambitious projects. Over the next 3,000 years, the exposed mud bricks were subjected to the relentless forces of nature. Wind, rain, and the intense desert sun, combined with the occasional human interference, such as the removal of mud bricks for fertilizer by local farmers, a practice documented in the 19th and 20th centuries, gradually eroded the core, leading to the dark, weathered, and seemingly melted appearance we observe today.
Before you stretches a scene of haunting desolation, not the shadow of the Great Pyramids, but a place equally steeped in ancient power, yet far less known. This is Tanis, the City of the Sun, a name whispered in ancient texts, a place of sacred rituals and immense wealth. But look closer. Priceless statues bear the scars of unimaginable heat. Colossal pillars, once symbols of a mighty civilization, lie shattered as if crushed by the hand of a vengeful god. What happened here? Was this city known as Zoan in the Bible truly cursed? Did it fall victim to the shifting sands of the Nile or to the wrath of invaders? Or is the truth even more astonishing? Imagine a statue 100 feet tall, carved from solid granite, weighing more than 1,500 family cars. A feat that would challenge even modern engineers. Tanis holds secrets etched in scorched stone, secrets that speak of a fiery cataclysm. Was this the work of man, of nature, or of something more? Join us as we journey into the heart of an ancient enigma to uncover the lost story of Tanis, a city swallowed by time, waiting to reveal its truth.
A desolate landscape stretches before us, a mere 185 kilometers northeast of the iconic pyramids of Giza. Here lies Tanis, a city shrouded in mystery, once a place of immense power and sacred significance. The ancient Egyptians called it Janet, the City of the Sun, a holy site dedicated to Amun-Ra, the god of the sun and creation. This is what met the eyes of the first explorers in 1878, a scene of utter devastation. The soil, barren and unforgiving, supports little life save for a few resilient thorny bushes. Priceless statues bear the scars of intense heat. Gigantic stone pillars lie smashed and broken, like forgotten toys of giants. Was this city cursed, struck down by the wrath of gods, or was it simply abandoned to the ravages of time? Let's rewind the clock. Tanis, known as Janet, Zoan in the Old Testament, and today as San el Hagar, is a name whispered throughout history. Egyptologists generally agree it rose to prominence during the 21st dynasty, between 1069 and 945 BC, supplanting Thebes as Egypt's capital. But the narrative is far more complex. The discovery of massive Old Kingdom statues and artifacts within its ruins hints at a far more ancient origin, lost in the mists of time. Imagine a city dominated by an enormous temple complex dedicated to Amun-Ra, a royal palace. Bustling residential areas, all built with colossal granite pillars. These weren't just any stones. We're talking about 20 to 30-ton monoliths, painstakingly quarried, carved, and transported over 1,000 kilometers from Aswan in southern Egypt. Even with today's technology, this would be a monumental undertaking. Tanis was no vulnerable settlement. Fortifications, including massive walls and gates, were erected to defend against invaders. Picture walls, 70 feet thick, soaring 50 feet high, constructed from over 20 million mud bricks, each one potentially adorned with hieroglyphs and reliefs, a testament to the city's grandeur. Sadly, only fragments of these walls remain, eroded by millennia of wind and sand. Beyond its spiritual and political importance, Tanis has yielded some truly staggering megalithic artifacts. Our understanding of this city partially stems from Napoleon Bonaparte's 1798 expedition. He claimed 2 pink granite sphinxes, now housed in the Louvre, silent witnesses to Tanis's past. Countless other massive granite statues and artifacts have been unearthed, gracing museums worldwide, while others remain in Tanis, now an open-air museum. But perhaps the most mind-boggling discovery is a colossal foot, unearthed by the renowned Flinders Petrie in the late 1800s. Based on his meticulous scalings and comparisons to other colossi, Petrie estimated the original statue to have stood a staggering 100 feet tall. This is double the height of the colossi of Memnon. How did a civilization using seemingly primitive tools, copper chisels and wooden rollers, carve, transport, and erect a statue weighing an estimated 1,500 tons? It's a feat comparable to building the Statue of Liberty. The mind reels at the sheer scale of this undertaking. In 1939, French Egyptologist Pierre Montet made a discovery that should have rivaled Howard Carter's find in the Valley of the Kings. He uncovered the royal tomb complex at Tanis, containing 3 intact burial chambers. The treasures within were breathtaking: golden masks, bracelets, tableware, necklaces, and ornate sarcophagi, all crafted with exquisite artistry. Had it not been for the outbreak of World War II, these treasures would undoubtedly be as famous as Tutankhamun's. Even today, Montet's discoveries at Tanis are relatively unknown, overshadowed by the more publicized finds. The exact cause of Tanis's decline remains a puzzle. The conventional narrative, favored by many Egyptologists, points to a shift in political power, with cities like Sais and eventually Alexandria rising to prominence. The changing course of the Nile is another factor. As the river shifted, it likely caused flooding and erosion, rendering the area less habitable. However, let's delve deeper. If the city was simply abandoned, wouldn't the inhabitants have taken their valuables? Why leave behind hoards of treasure? The photographs from the initial rediscovery of Tanis reveal a scene of almost biblical destruction. And perhaps there's a reason for that. Remember, Tanis is the biblical zone. In Ezekiel 30:14, the prophet foretells its doom. "I will lay waste to Upper Egypt, set fire to Zoan, and inflict punishment on Thebes." Could this be a clue? Egypt's fertile lands and strategic location have made it a battleground for millennia. Alexander the Great, the Sasanian Persians, and the Crusaders all marched through this region, leaving their mark. Could fierce battles have contributed to Tanis's destruction? Earthquakes too have plagued Egypt throughout history. While they could explain some of the damage, they don't account for the scorch marks found on many artifacts. Look closely at this statue. The right side of its face shows clear signs of intense heat. Granite requires temperatures exceeding 1,200 degrees Celsius to exhibit such damage. Was this divine retribution, a lightning strike, a meteor airburst, or the result of a more earthly weapon? One intriguing possibility is Greek fire. a devastating incendiary weapon used by the Eastern Roman Empire from around 672 AD. This terrifying concoction, likely a mixture of naphtha and quicklime, could ignite upon contact with water and was projected from flame-throwing devices. Could Greek fire have been used to raise Tanis? While primarily a naval weapon, it's conceivable that Greek fire, or a similar incendiary technology, could have been adapted for land-based warfare. The destruction at Tanis, particularly the scorched stone that requires temperatures exceeding 1,200 degrees Celsius to achieve, aligns with the potential destructive power of such a weapon. While the spectre of Greek fire is certainly captivating, there's another, perhaps more grounded explanation for the intense fire damage at Tanis. We must remember that Tanis was a major religious and administrative center for centuries. It's conceivable that large-scale industrial or ritualistic activities involving intense, sustained heat took place within the city. It's important to note that this explanation doesn't necessarily contradict the others. A natural disaster, a battle, or even an attack using incendiary weapons could have triggered the initial blaze, which then escalated due to the presence of industrial or ritualistic activities, or simply because of the abundance of flammable materials within the city. This scenario, while perhaps less dramatic than divine wrath or ancient superweapons, is firmly rooted in the realities of daily life in an ancient city. It reminds us that even seemingly mundane activities, when combined with unfortunate circumstances, can have a profound and lasting impact on the historical record. The fire marks at Tanis, therefore, could be a testament not to a single catastrophic event, but to the complex interplay of human activity and the ever-present threat of fire in a world before modern fire prevention and suppression techniques. So, the sands of Tanis hold their secrets still. Was this once great city ravaged by the wrath of gods, as the ancient texts suggest? The story of Tanis is a reminder that the past is never truly gone. It lingers, buried beneath the sands, waiting to be rediscovered, reinterpreted, and perhaps to teach us lessons that resonate even in our own time.
It was the consensus of archaeologists that megalithic architecture was beyond the capacities of hunter-gatherers and required the presence of long-term, settled agricultural communities to evolve. No megalithic architecture had been found anywhere in the world that was more than 6,000 years old. In fact, that was one of the main arguments that the archaeological police used to try to dismiss John West and Robert Schoch. They said, show us another culture that's 12,000 years old anywhere in the world, and we might listen to you. But we know that there is no culture capable of creating anything like the Sphinx until 4,500 years ago. That changed completely with Gobekli Tepe, which is a deliberately buried site, deliberately buried 11,600 years ago, and thus sealed, and thus an intact archaeological scene. And the evidence from Gobekli Tepe is that this site is 11,600 years old. It dates to the end of a period called the Younger Dryas. My goodness, if you're capable of creating these 20-ton megalithic pillars and this huge site, then you're certainly capable of creating the Great Sphinx.
In 1963, a routine archaeological survey in southeastern Turkey uncovered a curious site atop a hill known as Gobekli Tepe, or Belly Hill. At first glance, the site appeared unremarkable. A scattering of broken limestone slabs lay across the hill's summit, leading researchers to believe they had stumbled upon little more than a medieval cemetery. With nothing to suggest otherwise, they simply made a note of it and moved on. However, this seemingly insignificant site would later be revealed as one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the 20th century, forever altering our understanding of early human civilization. In 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt revisited the site during his own survey of the region. Unlike those who came before him, Schmidt didn't just move on. Instead, he felt that Gobekli Tepe held a much deeper significance. His intuition proved to be right. Beneath the surface of the hill, Schmidt uncovered an ancient marvel, a series of massive megalithic structures some reaching as high as 18 feet and weighing up to 50 tons. These stones, arranged in circular patterns, were intricately carved with depictions of humanoid figures, animals, and abstract symbols. As the excavation continued, something even more astonishing emerged. This site was ancient, far more ancient than anyone had expected. Radiocarbon dating placed its age between 9,600 and 8,200 BCE, making it over 5,000 years older than Stonehenge. Gobekli Tepe was now recognized as the oldest known megalithic site in the world. The question then arose: who could have created this monumental structure over 11,000 years ago, at a time when humanity was still presumed to be in the throes of a hunter-gatherer existence? How did they manage to move these enormous stones and carve them with such precision in an era so long before the advent of writing or advanced tools? These mysteries only deepened as further studies of Gobekli Tepe revealed evidence of a permanent settlement around the site. This new finding suggested that the builders of Gobekli Tepe were not nomadic hunter-gatherers, but rather members of an advanced civilization, a civilization older than any previously recorded. The discovery of Gobekli Tepe not only challenged traditional timelines of human development, but also raised profound questions about the purpose of the site. Why would such an immense and intricate structure be built so long ago? What drove these ancient people to invest so much effort into its construction? As archaeologists and scholars debated the answers, one theory began to gain traction. Gobekli Tepe may have been one of the world's first religious centers, perhaps even a place of worship for one of humanity's earliest organized belief systems. Schmidt himself called it the first human-built holy place, and likened it to a cathedral perched atop a hill. Others speculated that Gobekli Tepe might have served as an astronomical observatory, aligned with the stars and designed to track celestial events such as the movement of the constellation Sirius. Such a purpose would indicate that the builders possessed a deep understanding of astronomy, far earlier than previously thought. Both theories held tantalizing implications for our understanding of early human culture and spirituality. But in 2017, a new and even more significant theory emerged that promised to completely rewrite history. That year, two researchers, chemical engineers Martin Sweatman and Dimitrios Tsikritsis, turned their attention to one of Gobekli Tepe's most enigmatic features, the vulture stone. This intricately carved pillar, featuring depictions of animals and abstract figures, had long puzzled scientists. But Sweatman and Tsikritsis believed that the vulture stone held a hidden message. After close study, they concluded that the carvings were not just decorative, but rather encoded a form of information. In their view, the animals depicted on the stone represented ancient constellations, such as Scorpio, represented by a scorpion, and Libra, symbolized by a duck-like figure. At the center of the carving was a circular shape, which the researchers interpreted as the sun. According to Sweatman and Tsikritsis, the vulture stone was not merely a work of art, it was a time capsule. They believed it recorded the alignment of the constellations at a specific point in history, providing a date stamp for a significant event in human history. But what event could have been so monumental that it was memorialized on this ancient stone? The answer, according to the researchers, lay in another part of the carving. A series of square symbols at the top of the pillar, accompanied by strange descending lines. Sweatman and Tsikritsis proposed that these symbols represented fragments of a comet falling to Earth, while the headless man depicted in the bottom right corner symbolized the devastation caused by the event. In their seminal article published in Mediterranean Archaeology and Archaeometry, the researchers put forward a bold hypothesis. The vulture stone was a record of a cataclysmic event. the Younger Dryas impact. The Younger Dryas event was a period of sudden global cooling, lasting approximately from 12,900 to 11,600 years ago, during which Earth experienced dramatic shifts in climate. Geological records show that this time was marked by super tsunamis, widespread flooding, massive wildfires, and the extinction of many species. But what caused this global catastrophe had long been a matter of debate. One of the leading theories was that the Younger Dryas was triggered by a comet impact, which vaporized the ice caps covering much of North America and plunged the planet into chaos. If true, this theory would have staggering implications. It would suggest that not only did a sophisticated civilization exist more than 12,000 years ago, but that this civilization also had the capability to record astronomical events with precision. This raises a host of new questions. Who were the builders of Gobekli Tepe? How did they possess such advanced knowledge? And why have they been absent from the pages of history for so long? The possibility that Gobekli Tepe contains a record of one of the most devastating events in human prehistory opens a new chapter in our understanding of early civilization. As researchers continue to unearth the secrets of the site, it's clear that Gobekli Tepe may not have been the only place where evidence of this catastrophic event is preserved. Indeed, it seems that the builders of Gobekli Tepe were not the only ones affected by the Younger Dryas event. In the region surrounding Gobekli Tepe, another set of ancient structures provides clues to humanity's response to the disaster. Turkey is home to a network of underground cities, some of which stretch for miles beneath the Earth's surface. These vast subterranean complexes, such as those found in Cappadocia, have long been a source of wonder and mystery. Archaeologists have long speculated about the purpose of these underground cities. Were they used as shelters during invasions or natural disasters? Some believe these cities may have been built in response to the Younger Dryas event, serving as sanctuaries for those trying to escape the extreme climate conditions that ravaged the Earth during this period. Intriguingly, the ancient religion of Zoroastrianism may hold additional clues to this puzzle. Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest known organized religions, is thought to have originated in the region of modern-day Iran, which shares a border with Turkey. The religion's sacred texts, such as the Vendidad, contain stories that bear a striking resemblance to the events of the Younger Dryas. In the Vendidad, a man named Yima is warned of an impending catastrophe, a severe winter that will cover the earth in ice and snow. In response, Yima is instructed to build a multi-level underground city where he is to gather 2,000 human couples and every kind of animal. This city, much like Noah's Ark, is meant to preserve life through the catastrophe. When the Younger Dryas deep freeze ended, Yima's people re-emerged from their underground shelter to repopulate the earth. Could the story of Yima be a distant memory of the Younger Dryas event, passed down through oral tradition? And could the underground cities of Turkey be the real-world counterparts to the shelters described in the Vendidad? If so, then Gobekli Tepe may not only commemorate the catastrophic event itself, but also the survival of humanity through it. As we continue to investigate the mysteries of Gobekli Tepe and the underground cities of Turkey, the pieces of a much larger puzzle begin to fall into place. Together, these ancient structures point to the existence of an advanced civilization that flourished before the Younger Dryas, more than 12,000 years ago. This civilization, it seems, possessed the knowledge and skills to construct monumental buildings, track the stars, and survive cataclysmic events. Yet for reasons still unknown, this civilization vanished from history, leaving only cryptic traces behind. The implications of these findings are profound. If Gobekli Tepe is indeed a record of the Younger Dryas event, it would not only rewrite the history of human civilization, but also challenge our understanding of early humanity's capabilities. Far from being simple hunter-gatherers, the people who built Gobekli Tepe may have been part of a sophisticated culture that has been lost to time. In the coming years, as more of Gobekli Tepe is excavated and more underground cities are explored, we may finally begin to unravel the full story of this lost civilization. And in doing so, we may come to realize that human history stretches back much further than we ever imagined.
There's huge areas of the world that have never been looked at by archaeology at all. Or if looked at by archaeology, looked at only minimally. Of course, the most important are the flooded continental shelves. And that's why Santa and I spent 7 years of our lives scuba diving all around the world.
Nestled at the westernmost edge of the Saurashtra Peninsula in what is now the state of Gujarat, India, the ancient city of Dwarka offers a narrative that is as rich in spirituality and mythology as it is in historical urban development.
The calculation is that 27 million square kilometers that was above water during the Ice Age is underwater now.
The city's strategic positioning near the confluence of the Gomati River and the Arabian Sea played a pivotal role not just in safeguarding it from potential invaders, but also in bolstering maritime trade and fostering connections with other parts of the ancient world. This geographical advantage, coupled with the city being enveloped by water on all sides, either as a peninsula or a series of islands, crafted a natural fortress that was a challenge for any adversary to overcome.
Most of human civilization has been organized around water, right? And as the water levels change, some of those ancient cities could be completely covered.
We did a lot of diving in southern India, so it was great for her to be able to talk in their own language to Tamil fishermen and Tamil divers and see if they'd seen any weird stuff underwater, which they certainly had.
Moreover, the Gomati River's proximity not only enhanced the city's scenic beauty, but also served as a crucial lifeline for its residents. Dwarka's urban landscape, as depicted in ancient texts, was nothing short of architectural grandeur. The city boasted of meticulously planned streets, a state-of-the-art drainage system, and formidable fortifications, all of which were divided into well-defined sectors for residential, commercial, and administrative purposes.
We know that it's been underwater for about 6,000 or 7,000 years, but the question is, how long before that was it made? How long did it stand there above water?
This level of urban planning and civil engineering sophistication showcases an advanced understanding of city management and infrastructure development, making Dwarka a marvel in ancient urban planning. The city's defensive structures, including a series of gates and fortifications, underscored the thoughtful defensive strategy employed in its construction. These were not merely architectural feats, but were strategically designed to regulate access and provide unwavering protection against invasions. Such architectural and strategic prowess points to a high degree of sophistication and indicates that Dwarka was a city that blended beauty with brains, making it a formidable entity in the ancient world.
You're coming across statues underwater, you're coming across columns underwater. It's just magical in diving on an underwater city.
Diving into the depths off the coast of modern-day Dwarka in Gujarat, India, archaeologists have embarked on marine explorations that have significantly advanced our understanding of the ancient city's grandeur and the sophisticated civilization that once flourished there. These underwater explorations have brought to light submerged structures, stone foundations, walls, pillars, and steps that many believe were part of the legendary Dwarka, a city of immense importance in Hindu scriptures. The discovery of such elaborate underwater architecture points towards the advanced engineering and construction techniques of the time, hinting at a society that was far ahead of its contemporaries in terms of urban planning and infrastructure development. The use of modern technology, including sonar scanning, diving explorations, and underwater photography, has been instrumental in mapping out the submerged city, providing us with a clearer picture of its complexity and the scale at which it operated. But the revelations don't stop at structures. A plethora of artifacts unearthed both from the seabed and land excavations near Dwarka tell tales of a culturally rich and economically prosperous society. The remnants of well-laid streets and an elaborate drainage system underscore a high degree of urban planning, indicative of a society that valued organization, environmental health, and the well-being of its citizens. Moreover, the variety of materials discovered suggests Dwarka was a bustling hub of trade and cultural exchange, maintaining connections with other civilizations of its time. This diversity not only showcases the city's economic vitality, but also its cultural openness and dynamism. But perhaps what's most fascinating is the chronological evidence unearthed through radiocarbon dating.
We have to accept that civilization in India is at least 5,000 years old. The largely and correctly discredited notion of an Aryan invasion of India needs to be abandoned.
Some artifacts and structural components of the submerged city have been dated back to the 2nd millennium BCE, aligning Dwarka's timeline with that of Lord Krishna, as described in traditional beliefs and ancient texts. This dating not only cements Dwarka's place as a significant cultural, religious, and economic center in the ancient world, but also bridges the gap between mythological narratives and historical reality. These archaeological findings offer a tangible framework to understand the evolution of urban settlements in ancient India, shedding light on societal structures, trade practices, and the cultural dynamics of the time. As we piece together clues from the past, Dwarka holds a special place in the tapestry of Hindu mythology and Indian ancient history, not just for its divine origins, but also for the mystery and majesty that encompass its story. At the heart of Dwarka's legend is its foundation by Lord Krishna, a pivotal figure in Hinduism revered across various traditions. The epic tales from the Mahabharata and the Bhagavata Purana tell us of Krishna's quest to protect his people from persistent threats, leading to the establishment of this city. It wasn't just a random choice. Krishna was strategic, opting for a location that offered natural defenses and prosperous living conditions for his subjects. Positioned on the western coast, Dwarka was a fortress against adversaries, thanks to its geographical advantages and access to vital sea routes that facilitated trade and communication. This city wasn't just a safe haven, it was a symbol of divine protection and ingenuity, blending spiritual significance with architectural splendor. The story of Dwarka, with its grand buildings and eventual mysterious submergence, captures the imagination, making it a subject of fascination and reverence. Dwarka, often hailed as the City of Gold in ancient scriptures, embodies not just the literal application of gold in its architecture, but also represents an era of unparalleled wealth, prosperity, and architectural ingenuity. This legendary city, with its palaces shimmering with gold and precious stones, grand public spaces, and formidable fortifications, stands as a testament to the zenith of ancient urban development and prosperity. The city's opulence wasn't confined to its material wealth. It extended to its sophisticated design and layout, which were attributed to Vishwakarma, the divine architect in Hindu mythology. Commissioned by Lord Krishna, Vishwakarma's vision for Dwarka was nothing short of architectural brilliance. The planning of Dwarka was meticulously executed, with distinct zones for residential quarters, marketplaces, temples, and public buildings. This segregation ensured that the city functioned efficiently, with each area serving its purpose without encroaching on another. The residential quarters, designed for comfort and accessibility, were likely constructed with not just security in mind, but also aesthetics, ensuring that the city's inhabitants lived in an environment that was safe, beautiful, and harmonious with nature. But perhaps the most captivating tale of Dwarka is its mysterious submergence.
The submergence of those sites is largely because of subsidence of land rather than sea level rise, because it's relatively recent.
Legend has it that following Lord Krishna's departure from this world, the city met its end, swallowed by the sea. This story isn't just a pivotal chapter in Hindu mythology, marking the end of an era and the onset of Kali Yuga. It has also piqued the interest of archaeologists and historians. Their underwater explorations near the modern city of Dwarka have unearthed submerged structures, offering a tangible link to the city's legendary past. These discoveries hint at the existence of a significant settlement that might have gradually succumbed to rising sea levels or other catastrophic events, giving some historical backbone to the mythological tales. The submergence of Dwarka is often seen through a symbolic lens, reflecting on the ephemeral nature of wealth and the inevitability of change. It reminds us that even the most splendid creations, no matter how grand or well-built, are not immune to the forces of time and nature. This story, rich with historical intrigue and mythological depth, continues to enchant and provoke thought, bridging the ancient with the present and the mythical with the real.
Mohenjo-Daro, Indus Valley, the buildings turned to glass. The sand turned to glass. And the bodies are still laying in the street right now today, holding hands, never been scavenged by animals.
They had no historical evidence of that. There's no text. It was not mentioned in any books. It was
really?
Yep. It was found as an accident. They found it by accident.
This is evidence of a nuclear war. That's 3,000 plus degree temperature weapons fire.
They explain how the devastation looks, right? They talk about how high the temperature goes, how it looked like a sun when the explosion happened, how all the vegetation was completely wiped off and there were no plants or trees growing for the next 12 to 25 years.
They describe them as weapons that once released can't be revolted or can't be turned back, and that they will obliterate any area, any city. And they say that one of the weapons can destroy any man on 3 worlds. It's crazy stuff. This is where Oppenheimer got his famous quote when he obviously tested the nuke.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
In the scorching deserts of southern Pakistan lies an archaeological site that defies explanation, a city frozen in time, now shrouded in mystery and the whispers of lost civilizations. Welcome to Mohenjo-Daro. Once a thriving metropolis during the height of the ancient Indus Valley civilization, this city's remains have puzzled researchers for nearly a century. But why does this city, over 4,000 years old, seem to vanish suddenly from history? Could it be that some catastrophic event wiped it off the map? Perhaps even turning parts of it into glass? Discovered in 1922 by an Indian archaeologist, R.D. Banerjee, Mohenjo-Daro is located on the banks of the Indus River. What the world came to learn through its excavations was the stunning complexity of this civilization. At its peak, Mohenjo-Daro housed as many as 40,000 inhabitants. But the real intrigue lies in its infrastructure, a grid-like city layout, advanced water drainage systems, and meticulously built homes made of baked bricks, a city so well organized that it rivals modern urban planning techniques. But who were these people, and what led to their mysterious disappearance? Let's start by looking at what they built. The city is constructed using uniform, fired bricks, with some weighing over 15 pounds. The scale of the city is impressive, spanning more than 300 hectares, roughly the size of 500 football fields. Each house was carefully positioned to align with the cardinal directions. But how did an ancient civilization develop such precision without modern technology? A central structure, known as the Great Bath, is another remarkable feature of Mohenjo-Daro. Measuring 12 meters long and 7 meters wide, the bath is built with watertight bricks and a sophisticated drainage system, indicating that water held immense significance for the people of Mohenjo-Daro. It is one of the earliest public waterworks ever discovered. But what was the purpose of this massive structure? Was it purely for hygiene, or did it have deeper, possibly spiritual, significance? Let's pause to consider the most perplexing discovery. Some sections of the ruins appear to have been subjected to extremely high temperatures, enough to melt or vitrify stone, turning it into glass. This phenomenon is known as vitrification, something typically associated with nuclear explosions or volcanic activity. Yet, no evidence of volcanic activity or natural firestorms has been found in the region. Could it be that some ancient technology, lost to time, was capable of unleashing such destructive energy? Some theorists have gone so far as to suggest that Mohenjo-Daro might have been destroyed by an ancient nuclear explosion. It sounds far-fetched, but the vitrified remains beg for an explanation. But the mysteries don't end there. Among the discoveries were over 40 human skeletons, lying in the streets and various parts of the city. These remains were not buried in the traditional sense, indicating that whatever caused the downfall of Mohenjo-Daro was sudden and violent. Many of these skeletons showed no signs of trauma, yet some were found in postures suggesting they were fleeing from something. What could have caused such mass panic and sudden death? Was it a natural disaster, a catastrophic flood, or perhaps something even more terrifying? Now, consider this. The massive stone blocks and materials used in the city's construction were not native to the immediate region. In fact, some of the stones used in Mohenjo-Daro's construction had to be transported from quarries located over 300 kilometers away. How did they manage to move such enormous stones without the aid of modern machinery? Could they have had access to technologies we still don't fully understand? This comparison often draws parallels to the pyramids of Egypt and the stone structures of South America, where similarly large stones were transported over great distances. The sheer size and weight of the materials used in these ancient cities challenge our understanding of what was possible in the ancient world. Another fascinating question arises when we consider the precision of Mohenjo-Daro's urban layout. The city's advanced planning and uniformity seem almost out of place in the ancient world. How did a society living over 4,000 years ago manage to create such an organized and structured cityscape without modern surveying tools? It's as though they were working with knowledge that far exceeded their time. Could they have been influenced by some advanced, now forgotten culture? Some theorists have even suggested extraterrestrial intervention, pointing to the similarity between Mohenjo-Daro's design and other mysterious ancient sites across the world. But what happened to this great city? Why was it abandoned so suddenly? While some archaeologists believe that environmental factors such as flooding from the nearby Indus River might have played a role, the evidence of extreme heat and vitrified ruins adds an ominous layer to the mystery. Could the people of Mohenjo-Daro have been the victims of an ancient catastrophe so powerful that it erased them from history almost instantly? As we delve deeper into the mysteries of Mohenjo-Daro, we must also consider the broader context of the Indus Valley civilization. This civilization was one of the largest of the ancient world, spanning parts of modern-day Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan. Yet despite its vast size, we know shockingly little about its people, their language, or their beliefs. Their script remains undeciphered, and their disappearance from history is as sudden as it is puzzling. And what about the artifacts found here? Pottery, jewelry, and even toys have been unearthed, but perhaps the most enigmatic discovery is the so-called dancing girl, a bronze statuette of a young woman that seems to exude a sense of sophistication and artistic flair far beyond what we would expect from a society of this age. Who was she? What role did she play in this mysterious civilization? Now, what could have caused a thriving civilization to vanish seemingly overnight? Let's begin with the most debated theory, the possibility of an ancient nuclear catastrophe. At first glance, the idea of nuclear technology existing over 4,000 years ago seems impossible. Yet, the vitrified ruins, sections of stone turned to glass by intense heat, suggest that something extraordinary happened here. In the 1970s, physicist Dr. Robert Oppenheimer, who led the Manhattan Project during World War II, was asked if the nuclear bomb tested in 1945 was the world's first atomic explosion. His response was chilling. Well, yes, in modern times. Was he hinting at an ancient nuclear event? Could Mohenjo-Daro have been the site of such an explosion? Adding to the intrigue is the lack of traditional warfare evidence in the city. No mass graves, no clear signs of battle, no damage to the structures that would suggest a large-scale conflict. Instead, the bodies found in the city were seemingly untouched by violence, lying in the streets as though something much more sinister and sudden occurred. Could this have been an accident, a release of untamed energy, or something more deliberate, akin to a weapon of unimaginable power? Then, there's the question of the city's eerie disappearance. Unlike other ancient cities that gradually declined over time, Mohenjo-Daro appears to have been abandoned swiftly, almost as if its inhabitants knew that staying would lead to their demise.
We have this curious stonework, and we also have it at Alakahoyuk in Turkey. Exactly the same kind of thing. Is this a coincidence, or is there something going on behind the scenes of history that we've not been fully informed about yet?
Perched high atop the rugged peaks of the Taurus Mountains in southeastern Turkey, the tomb of King Antiochus Theos of Commagene at Mount Nemrut beckons with the whispers of ancient secrets and celestial mysteries. Erected over 2 millennia ago, this monumental sanctuary is not only a marvel of Hellenistic engineering, but also a cryptic canvas of colossal gods and inscriptions that blend the myths of East and West. As the sun rises and sets, aligning perfectly with the stone behemoths that guard this sacred summit, the mystery deepens. What divine ambitions did this forgotten king harbor, and what secrets lie buried beneath these stone giants, silently watching over the empire of Commagene? For centuries, the towering statues of Mount Nemrut stood silently, known only to the local people who wove their existence into the fabric of local myths, calling it the throne of the gods. This mix of reverence and legend kept the site tucked away in the annals of folklore until a twist of fate brought it back into the light. In the 1880s, Karl Sester, a German road engineer working on infrastructure projects for the Ottoman Empire, stumbled upon these majestic relics not out of archaeological zeal, but through sheer happenstance. His subsequent sketches and reports were the first to unveil the grandeur of Nemrut's statues to the Western world, sparking a wave of interest among European archaeologists and historians. The rediscovery of Mount Nemrut set the stage for a series of explorations that would delve deeper into its historical and cultural contexts. Shortly after Sester, Osman Hamdi Bey, an Ottoman archaeologist and painter, conducted more systematic studies at the site. He proposed that the Grand Mound could very well be the tomb of King Antiochus III of Commagene, an idea supported by the inscriptions and formidable statues that guard the site. This period marked a significant turning point, drawing a flurry of academic expeditions that pieced together the narrative of King Antiochus I, while enriching the field of Near Eastern archaeology. The artistic styles of the statues, with their blend of Persian, Hellenistic, and indigenous elements, provide a fascinating glimpse into the cultural interplay of the Hellenistic period, post-Alexander the Great's conquests. This fusion of artistic influences offers a window into the dynamic cultural exchanges of the era, further underscoring the historical significance of southeastern Turkey as a cultural crossroads. Perched at an altitude of 2,134 meters in the rugged Taurus Mountains, Mount Nemrut commands a view that stretches vast and wide, overseeing the Euphrates River Valley. This strategic and visual dominance was no accident. It was a clear symbol of power and divine status, meticulously chosen by King Antiochus I. The site's layout, with its statues and burial mound aligned to catch the rays of the rising sun during the equinox and the setting sun at the summer solstice, underscores the solar worship prevalent during Antiochus's reign. This astronomical alignment not only highlights the king's desire to link himself with the cosmos, but also speaks volumes about the sophisticated understanding of celestial patterns by ancient civilizations. The mystical heights of Mount Nemrut in southeastern Turkey are not only a testament to ancient engineering, but also to the pioneering spirit of those who have uncovered its secrets. In 1953, American archaeologist Teresa Girl began a systematic exploration of this enigmatic site, which was particularly groundbreaking as it was one of the first major archaeological projects led by a woman. Her work, supported by institutions like the Bollingen Foundation, the American Philosophical Society, and later the National Geographic Society, was crucial for the sustained excavation and research that would follow. Despite numerous challenges, including harsh weather conditions and logistical issues in transporting equipment up the mountain, Girl's team persevered. Using traditional excavation techniques, Girl and her crew were meticulous in their approach, ensuring the integrity of every artifact and structure discovered. Their efforts unveiled not just the colossal statues, but also a series of reliefs and inscriptions that illuminated the cultural and religious life of the Kingdom of Commagene. These findings were pivotal in confirming that the tumulus was indeed the burial site of Antiochus III, aligning with earlier hypotheses about the site's purpose. As archaeological methods advanced, later explorations at Mount Nemrut incorporated technologies such as digital mapping and photogrammetry. These tools allowed archaeologists to capture high-resolution images of the site, which facilitated precise measurements and detailed records of the statues and inscriptions without risking physical damage. Techniques like ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography were also employed to probe the internal structure of the tumulus, searching for potential burial chambers or other archaeological features without the need for invasive digging. Further studies have focused on the astronomical significance of the site's layout. Researchers suggest that the arrangement of the statues may align with the rising and setting of the sun during solstices and equinoxes, hinting at these events' religious or ceremonial importance in Antiochus's ideology. From the tomb of Antiochus the Baoan at Mount Nemrut to the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, there lies a fascinating comparison. Both sites were built as tombs for their respective rulers, serving as monumental tributes to their power and divine status. However, while the pyramids are primarily massive stone structures designed to house the pharaoh's remains and belongings for the afterlife, Mount Nemrut combines burial purposes with a religious sanctuary, featuring colossal statues that showcase a blend of Hellenistic and Persian influences. Moreover, both sites exhibit significant astronomical alignments. The pyramids are meticulously aligned to the cardinal points, possibly reflecting celestial phenomena, while Nemrut's layout seems to focus on solar events, emphasizing the importance of astronomy in ancient religious and burial practices. This fascinating alignment hints at a deeper connection between celestial phenomena and the divine rites of ancient rulers, suggesting that these majestic sites were not only final resting places, but also key to understanding the cosmos itself. The artifacts and inscriptions unearthed at Mount Nemrut serve as crucial pieces in piecing together the reign of Antiochus the Theos and the syncretic fabric of the Commagene kingdom. It's truly fascinating how these discoveries offer deep insights into his ambitions and ideological foundations. The inscriptions on Mount Nemrut are a linguistic blend of Greek and Persian, underscoring the dual influences that shaped the kingdom. Greek served as the lingua franca of the broader Hellenistic world, while Persian reflected the local traditions and the legacy of the Achaemenid Empire from which Commagene emerged. Delving deeper into the inscriptions, they frequently include detailed genealogies that link Antiochus to deities and illustrious rulers. This not only legitimized his rule, but also positioned him as a cultural and celestial bridge. Among these, the Nomos of Antiochus inscription is particularly noteworthy. This foundational text outlined the religious and administrative laws Antiochus established, detailing ritual practices and festivals to honor him alongside the gods after his death, effectively creating a state religion that deified the king. Turning our gaze to the statues and reliefs, the iconography at Mount Nemrut is nothing short of spectacular. The statues depict Antiochus the Ta'an alongside a pantheon of gods such as Zeus Oromasdes, Apollo Mithras, and Hercules Artagnes, merging Greek and Persian divine figures. These statues are not only colossal but intricately carved from stone, showcasing a blend of artistic styles that highlight Antiochus's role as a mediator between his people and the divine. This symbolic placement elevates him to a semi-divine status, visually asserting his place in the cosmic order. An interesting parallel can be drawn between the statues at Mount Nemrut and China's terracotta army. Both serve profound funerary and commemorative purposes, standing as guardians over the afterlives of their respective rulers and as monumental tributes to their divine status. However, while the terracotta army underscores the military might of the Chinese emperor, the statues at Mount Nemrut emphasize a blend of military prowess and divine wisdom, reflecting Antiochus's unique approach to rulership. Moreover, one of the most captivating theories about Mount Nemrut concerns its astronomical alignment. Researchers suggest that the arrangement of the statues and the tumulus itself may align with astronomical phenomena such as solstices and equinoxes. This alignment might mark significant dates like Antiochus's birthday or coronation day, or serve to highlight seasonal festivals that reinforced his divine kingship.
It's an insane amount of work. It's not just with the precision, but with the moving of these enormous objects. One of the things that always puzzles me, why? Why do they need to be so precise?
Imagine stumbling upon a hidden chamber beneath your home, leading to an ancient city carved deep within the earth. complete with its own ventilation system and defense mechanisms, an architectural marvel predating Egypt's majestic pyramids. From the labyrinthine complexity of Turkey's Derinkuyu underground city to the symbolic engravings in South Africa's Blombos Cave, our history is dotted with mysterious technologies and constructions that challenge our understanding of ancient human ingenuity. These discoveries not only push the boundaries of what we thought was technologically possible thousands of years ago, but also invite us to rethink the capabilities of our ancestors in the deep past. Blombos Cave, located on the southern coast of South Africa, has become an essential site for understanding early human culture since its discovery in the 1990s by Professor Christopher Henshelwood. The cave's artifacts, which date back about 100,000 years to the Middle Stone Age, offer a glimpse into the ingenuity and artistic sensibility of early humans. Among the notable findings are delicately crafted bone tools, which are some of the earliest known examples of using bone as a material for tool making. The sophistication and finish of these tools indicate a high level of skill and understanding of materials by their creators. In addition to bone tools, engraved ochre pieces were found in the cave, adorned with geometric patterns. These engravings are more than just decorative. They are believed to represent some of the earliest forms of symbolic communication and abstract art, suggesting that cognitive abilities in abstract thought and planning were well developed during this era. Another significant discovery was that of shell beads, which imply a sense of personal adornment and possibly indicate social or ritualistic practices. These beads might have been used in necklaces or bracelets, pointing to an early form of human expression and possibly even a system of currency or social delineation based on adornment. The Blombos Cave artifacts are often cited as evidence of a cognitive revolution, a significant leap in human thinking that may have been driven by genetic mutations affecting brain connectivity, leading to enhanced cognitive capabilities. This shift is thought to reflect a fundamental change in the neurophysiological capacities of humans at the time. Comparatively, the engravings from Blombos Cave and the later, more visually complex and representational Lascaux cave paintings in France, dated to about 17,000 years ago, both underscore a continuity in human artistic endeavors. While the Lascaux paintings are renowned for their visual sophistication, the abstract patterns and use of materials like ochre at Blombos may represent an earlier manifestation of the same cognitive leap towards symbolic thought and communication. Through these discoveries, Blombos Cave provides profound insights into the evolution of human cognition, culture, and social organization, challenging earlier assumptions about prehistoric humans and underscoring the deep roots of human creativity. These findings mark Blombos Cave as a pivotal benchmark for understanding the origins of modern human behavior and artistic expression. Moving from the artistic expressions of ancient South Africa to the architectural marvels of early Turkey, Çatalhöyük emerges as a fascinating site. Discovered in the late 1950s by James Mellart and extensively excavated later by Ian Hodder, this Neolithic New Stone Age settlement is located in south-central Turkey. Dating back approximately 9,500 to 7,700 years ago, Çatalhöyük provides an unparalleled glimpse into early urban life and its complexities, spanning about 32 acres with its intricately built environment. The architectural uniqueness of Çatalhöyük is evident in its mud brick houses, which were accessed via roofs instead of doors, suggesting a highly organized and communal society. The close clustering of these dwellings, where the roof of one building served as a terrace for another, reflects a lack of clear social stratification, unusual for such an early urban development. The settlement's walls boast elaborate frescoes, including detailed depictions of hunting scenes and vultures. These murals, some of the earliest examples of narrative art, offer insights into the community's beliefs, rituals, and the environment around them. Further explorations reveal numerous figurines and shrines within the settlement, underscoring the significant role religion played in daily life. The prominence of female figures and symbols in these findings may indicate matrifocal elements in their social structure. The theoretical perspective that Çatalhöyük might have been an egalitarian society is supported by the uniformity in house size and communal architectural layout. This suggests that Çatalhöyük could have practiced a form of proto-communism long before the concept was formally theorized, with an absence of grandiose tombs or palatial structures pointing to a community where social status was not markedly pronounced. When compared to the slightly later urban developments in Mesopotamia, such as Uruk, Çatalhöyük presents a stark contrast. Unlike Uruk, which displayed distinct social hierarchies through its city layout and monumental architecture like ziggurats, Çatalhöyük's layout suggests a more collective approach to urban living. This comparison provides key insights into how early urban societies could develop and organize themselves in diverse ways. In 1963, a seemingly mundane home renovation in the small town of Derinkuyu, Turkey, turned into a groundbreaking archaeological discovery. A homeowner, while knocking down a wall in his basement to expand the space, inadvertently opened up a passage leading to an extensive network of rooms, tunnels, and chambers buried deep beneath the earth. This was no ordinary find. It was the entrance to what would soon be recognized as the largest underground city in Cappadocia, a region already noted for its unique geological formations and history of subterranean dwellings carved into soft volcanic rock. The discovery revealed that Derinkuyu was not just a series of underground caves, but a complex multi-level city that could descend up to 85 meters, or about 280 feet underground, featuring at least 18 tiers. This massive subterranean complex was equipped to house up to 20,000 people along with their livestock and necessary provisions. The city contained everything from residential quarters and communal spaces to places of worship and educational rooms, demonstrating a highly sophisticated understanding of architectural and engineering principles. Archaeologists who arrived soon after the discovery were astounded by the city's capabilities. Derinkuyu was ingeniously designed with extensive ventilation shafts, ensuring air circulation deep underground, akin to modern air conditioning systems. It also featured enormous stone doors that could be rolled across passageways to secure the city from invasions, operable only from the inside. The narrow tunnels were strategic, forcing potential intruders to enter in single file, which made defending the city more manageable. The engineering marvels of Derinkuyu also included a sophisticated ventilation system that prevented suffocation, even when the underground city was filled to capacity. This level of planning and construction suggests that the builders of Derinkuyu were not only master planners, but also pioneers in early architectural design. The design and defensive capabilities of Derinkuyu often draw comparisons to the legendary labyrinth of Minos, which was said to house the fearsome Minotaur in Greek mythology. Much like the mythological labyrinth, Derinkuyu had a cohesive layout with one main entrance and only a few secret exits, ingeniously designed to confuse and potentially trap unwelcome guests. This architectural similarity highlights the ingenuity of ancient builders and their ability to create secure and self-sustaining environments under the most challenging conditions.
Is it possible that some of the monuments of ancient Egypt are actually much older than the Egyptologists tell us?
Now, no modern builder would create a large building and add onto his or her shoulders the additional burden of aligning it to true north within a fraction of a single degree. They just wouldn't get it. They wouldn't understand why it was important to do that.
Droughts often carry a heavy toll on modern economies and ecosystems, yet these challenging times have occasionally peeled back the layers of history to reveal astonishing archaeological finds. One such remarkable discovery is the lost temple of Nectanebo in Egypt. This ancient temple resurfaces periodically as the fluctuating Nile river levels drop during severe droughts, exposing it from beneath the waters where it lay hidden. Located near modern Cairo in the ancient city of Heliopolis, known as Iunu in ancient times, the lost temple of Nectanebo provides crucial insights into the religious and cultural life during the 30th dynasty of Egypt, when Nectanebo Khan ruled from 380 to 362 BC. Heliopolis was not only one of the oldest cities of ancient Egypt, but also a major religious hub, celebrated for its majestic temples and as the center of worship for the sun god Ra. The temple, which is dedicated to the creator god Atum, plays a significant role in understanding the period. Atum was associated with the sun and creation, embodying the cycle of life, which made him a central figure in the religious practices at the time. The temple's strategic location and dedication highlight its immense religious importance. As it periodically emerges from the waters, the temple offers a rare opportunity for historians and archaeologists to explore and document the relics of a time usually hidden beneath the Nile's waters. This occasional visibility not only underscores the temple's archaeological and historical significance, but also highlights the dynamic interaction between natural events and historical discoveries. Now, who was Nectanebo? Nectanebo I is a towering figure in the annals of ancient Egyptian history, celebrated for founding the last dynasty that was purely Egyptian, the 30th dynasty. Before the onslaught of Persian and later Macedonian conquests, his rule from 380 to 362 BC was a pivotal era, marked by a revival of traditional Egyptian culture, ambitious architectural endeavors, and formidable military campaigns. Nectanebo's story begins in the delta region of Egypt in a city called Sebennytos, known today as Samanud. His birth name, which translates to the soul of Re, Lord of Strength. His rise to power was dramatic. Amidst a period riddled with political instability and internal strife, he seized the throne by overthrowing the previous pharaoh, Jedor. This bold move not only marked the end of the 29th dynasty, but also ushered in an era that strongly emphasized a return to Egyptian roots, distancing itself from recent Persian influences. During his reign, Nectanebo was intensely focused on rejuvenating Egypt's economy and reviving the rich tapestry of traditional religious practices that had been overshadowed during periods of foreign dominance. He was not only a devout builder of temples, but also a generous patron of the arts. Across Egypt, from Heliopolis to Hermopolis, he commissioned the construction and restoration of numerous temples dedicated to various deities, infusing life into these sacred spaces with elaborate decorations and expansive structures. But Nectanebo was not just a peacetime ruler indulging in cultural and religious enhancements. He was also a strategic military leader, actively defending Egypt against Persian attempts to reconquer it. He strengthened the nation's borders with formidable defensive structures, particularly in the Nile Delta, which played a crucial role in repelling invasions. His diplomatic skills were equally noteworthy. He fostered alliances with Greek city-states and employed Greek mercenaries, which not only bolstered his army but also brought Hellenistic cultural influences to Egypt. His extensive building projects were not merely displays of wealth or power, but were deeply embedded with cultural and religious significance, aimed at reinforcing the pharaonic ideology and divine kingship. The artistic renaissance that flourished during his reign saw a surge in high-quality sculpture and temple decorations, which continue to be admired for their craftsmanship. Reflecting on his legacy, Nectanebo left a lasting impact on Egyptian culture and national identity. His efforts to fortify Egypt's independence and his revival of many cultural practices made him a revered figure in later Egyptian memory, often celebrated as the last great native pharaoh before the long period of foreign dominations. Today, artifacts from his reign, such as statues, temple decorations, and coins, continue to offer rich insights into the period's artistic and religious life, and are subjects of intense study by archaeologists and historians around the world. In a broader historical context, Nectanebo could be compared to figures like the Byzantine Emperor Heraclius, who also endeavored to revive religious and cultural traditions in the face of external threats. This parallel underscores a common theme in history, where leaders often turn to cultural and religious revivalism to forge a collective identity during periods of crisis. Now, moving back to the Lost Temple, the discovery of this ancient marvel is as intriguing as its history. The existence of the temple is most commonly brought to light during times of drought when the Nile's water levels significantly recede. For centuries, the temple was hidden from view, submerged under the silt deposited by the Nile's annual floods, which both obscured and preserved it from the ravages of time and human activity. The first clues about the temple's existence came not from visible remains, but from ancient texts and sporadic local folklore. Archaeologists have long used these snippets of information as breadcrumbs, leading them to its periodic rediscovery whenever nature allowed. It was particularly during the major droughts that have affected the Nile in the late 20th and early 21st centuries that the temple ruins were fully exposed, providing a clearer and more comprehensive view of its layout and allowing for detailed archaeological examinations. To study the exposed parts of the temple, archaeologists have employed a variety of sophisticated techniques. Photogrammetry has been used extensively to capture detailed images of the temple's inscriptions and carvings, allowing experts to create accurate 3D models of the site. Additionally, geographic information system technology has played a crucial role in mapping the layout of the ruins in relation to the ancient river channels, offering insights into the historical changes in the landscape that have occurred over millennia. This combination of ancient lore and modern technology illustrates the dynamic way in which archaeologists are working to unravel the mysteries of the past, preserving its wonders for future generations. The lost temple of Nectanebo, dedicated to the creator god Atum, also known as Temu, holds a place of great reverence in the annals of Egyptian history. Atum's cult, one of the oldest in Egypt, symbolizes both the completion and the beginning of the life cycle and the sun, casting this temple as a key religious site within the Heliopolitan tradition. The strategic placement of this temple in Heliopolis, the epicenter of worship for the sun god Ra and closely linked to Atum, further weaves it into the grand tapestry of solar worship that was central to ancient Egyptian spirituality. The construction of the temple was an architectural feat, utilizing large sandstone blocks intricately carved with hieroglyphs and religious iconography. This choice of material not only ensured the structure's durability, but also allowed for the detailed and extensive carvings that adorn the temple's walls, which tell tales of divine legends and pharaonic glory. Upon closer examination of the exposed ruins during periods when the Nile's waters recede, archaeologists have unearthed the foundation and lower sections of these massive sandstone walls, alongside several statues of Nectanebo decked in royal attire. These statues poignantly illustrate the pharaoh's aspiration to be seen as a divine entity and offer a window into the art and religious life of his time. The myriad of carvings found on the temple walls also provides invaluable insights into the daily religious practices and societal interactions of ancient Egyptians under Nectanebo's rule. The grandeur of the temple not only underscores the religious complexities of Nectanebo's reign, but also reflects the political power and stability he commanded, as only a prosperous and stable ruler could undertake such an ambitious construction project. However, the intermittent visibility of the temple due to changing Nile water levels presents significant challenges for its conservation. The alternating exposure to air and water not only threatens the preservation of this ancient marvel, but also accelerates the deterioration of the stone and inscriptions. Despite these challenges, each period when the temple surfaces provides a crucial opportunity for further study and preservation efforts. Archaeologists and historians are continually aiming to delve deeper into the temple's structure during these windows, hoping to uncover more artifacts and possibly other structures associated with the temple complex that could shed further light on this historic sanctuary. This ongoing exploration and the efforts to safeguard the temple's integrity ensure that each chapter of its exposure helps piece together more of the past, maintaining a bridge to an era that shaped the foundations of modern civilization.
There's been some developments involving the Richat Structure. This site keeps on getting more and more interesting, and the evidence continues to stack that it is by far the most likely location for Atlantis. Now, for those of you who don't think that, if nothing else, I'm here to tell you that the evidence has become more apparent than ever.
The Richat Structure, often referred to as the Eye of the Sahara, is one of the most captivating and mysterious geological formations on Earth. Situated in the heart of the Sahara Desert, this massive circular formation has intrigued scientists, explorers, and theorists for decades. Its discovery and subsequent studies have led to a wealth of theories and speculation, reflecting the profound mystery surrounding its origin. Was a massive structure once here that suddenly vanished? Could it have had a massive impact on planet Earth? Or could it be an ancient mining site used by perhaps aliens or another advanced civilization? Could humans have had a role in this mysterious formation? The Richat Structure first came to the attention of the scientific community in the 1930s, when French geologist Théodore Monod embarked on an expedition to explore the vast and largely uncharted Sahara Desert. Monod's expedition was primarily focused on geological mapping, but during his travels, he noticed a peculiar circular formation that stood out starkly against the otherwise monotonous landscape of the desert. This structure, visible from higher elevations, appeared as a large bullseye-like pattern in the sand, prompting initial curiosity, but not immediate investigation. It wasn't until the 1960s, during the era of space exploration, that the true scale and nature of the Richat structure were fully appreciated. Astronauts aboard NASA's Gemini 4 mission captured high-resolution images of Earth, including the Sahara Desert, from space. From this vantage point, the structure was clearly visible as a colossal, circular formation stretching across a significant portion of the desert. These images ignited interest within the scientific community, leading to more focused research and exploration. Upon its discovery, the Richat structure's origin was the subject of intense debate and speculation. Its nearly perfect circular shape led many to hypothesize that it was the result of a meteor. The structure is the result of a volcanic eruption that never fully breached the Earth's surface. According to this theory, magma from deep within the Earth began to push upwards, creating a domed uplift in the overlying sedimentary rock layers. However, instead of forming a volcano, the magma cooled and solidified below the surface, leading to the gradual collapse of the dome. Over millions of years, erosion exposed the concentric rings that are visible today. Another theory posits that the Richat structure could have been formed by hydrothermal activity. This process involves the circulation of hot water through rock layers, causing chemical alterations that can lead to the formation of circular patterns. Although less widely accepted than the volcanic theory, it remains a possibility that some scientists continue to explore. The formation of the Richat structure is also believed to be connected to the tectonic activity that shaped the Sahara region. The Sahara Desert, though largely flat today, was once a much more dynamic landscape, influenced by the movement of tectonic plates. The structure may represent the remnants of a much larger geological process that occurred when the African continent was still undergoing significant tectonic upheaval. The immense size and complexity of the Richat structure make the idea of human construction seem highly improbable. Spanning a diameter of 40 kilometers, with rings that are perfectly concentric and several kilometers wide, the structure would have required an immense amount of labor, advanced engineering knowledge, and a purpose that remains difficult to conceive. Additionally, there is no evidence of human activity or artifacts that would suggest the structure was man-made. However, some fringe theories have suggested that the Richat structure could have been an ancient construction, possibly by a lost civilization. These theories are often linked to the legend of Atlantis, the mythical city described by Plato. Proponents of this theory argue that the structure's size, shape, and location correspond to descriptions of Atlantis, leading them to speculate that it could be the remains of this legendary city. This theory has gained traction in recent years, fueled by the structure's circular shape, size, and location in the Sahara Desert. The theory suggests that the Richat structure could be the remains of Atlantis, as described by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. Plato's dialogues describe Atlantis as a powerful and advanced civilization that existed around 9,000 years before his time. He depicted it as a large island, divided into concentric rings of land and water, located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which is commonly associated with the Strait of Gibraltar. Proponents of the Atlantis theory argue that the Richat structure's concentric rings closely match Plato's description, and its location in the Sahara Desert could correspond to the island's destruction and subsequent desertification. Establishing the age of the Richat structure has been a complex task due to the varied composition of its geological layers. However, scientists have been able to estimate its age based on the ages of the rocks that make up its various layers. The central part of the structure is composed of Ordovician rocks, approximately 500 million years old, while the outer layers are made up of even older Proterozoic rocks, dating back more than 2.5 billion years. The age of the structure has been roughly determined through radiometric dating, a technique that measures the decay of radioactive isotopes in rocks to determine their age. By analyzing the different layers of rock within the structure, scientists have pieced together a timeline of its formation, revealing that the structure is one of the oldest geological formations on Earth. The Richat structure's resemblance to a human eye when viewed from space has led to various symbolic interpretations. Some theorists propose that the structure was designed by an ancient civilization to serve as a signal or marker. visible from great distances, possibly even to extraterrestrial beings. This idea taps into the broader theme of ancient astronaut theories, which suggest that advanced civilizations or extraterrestrial visitors played a role in shaping Earth's history. The region surrounding the structure is not devoid of interest, both geologically and archaeologically. The Sahara Desert, though largely inhospitable today, was once a lush and fertile region, home to ancient human civilizations and a diverse array of flora and fauna. Evidence of ancient river systems, now long dried up, has been found throughout the Sahara, indicating that it was once a much more habitable environment. While the most widely accepted theory is that the Richat Structure is a natural geological formation, the lack of definitive evidence for its origin has led to various alternative theories. Some suggest that the structure could be the remnants of a massive ancient caldera, the result of a supervolcano that once existed in the region. This theory posits that the structure was formed by a massive volcanic eruption that collapsed the magma chamber, creating the concentric rings seen today. However, this theory is not widely supported, as there is no evidence of volcanic rock or ash in the area. Another theory proposes that the Richat structure could have been a site of ancient mining activity. The circular shape and concentric rings could have resulted from systematic mining operations, where different layers of rock were removed over time. However, there is no archaeological evidence to support this theory, and it is unlikely that ancient peoples would have had the technology or resources to undertake such a massive project. While these ideas are largely speculative, they highlight the enduring fascination with the Richat structure and its potential significance in human history.
But huge areas of the world that have never been looked at by archaeology at all. Or if looked at by archaeology, looked at only minimally. It's really important to understand that archaeology is often driven by accidental finds.
Ancient structures with astronomical alignments fascinate historians, archaeologists, and astronomers alike, as they offer a glimpse into the sophisticated understanding of celestial movements by ancient civilizations. These structures, often monumental, not only served religious or cultural purposes, but also acted as precise astronomical observatories, so we think.
We think it makes more sense, take the geology, take the astronomy. This monument has its origins 12,000 years ago.
The majestic pyramids of Giza have stood on the Giza Plateau, near Cairo, Egypt, for millennia, captivating us not just with their monumental architecture, but also with the mysteries of their celestial alignments. These ancient marvels, which include the towering Great Pyramid of Khufu, the Pyramid of Khafre, and the smaller Pyramid of Menkora, along with the enigmatic Great Sphinx and several smaller Queen's Pyramids, represent a pinnacle of ancient engineering and astronomical precision.
And that astronomical connection to the stars at that time says to me, we cannot divorce the ancient Egyptians from the Great Pyramid.
It's fascinating to think that the Great Pyramid, with its original height of 146.6 meters, held the title of the tallest man-made structure for over 3,800 years, constructed from an estimated 2.3 million blocks of stone. What really piques curiosity is the precision with which these pyramids are aligned to the cardinal points of the compass. The Great Pyramid's slight deviation from true north by just 3/60th of a degree is a testament to the ancient Egyptians' advanced knowledge of astronomy. They achieved this using the stars, particularly the circumpolar stars, which they deemed imperishable. Even more intriguing is the Orion correlation theory, which suggests the pyramid's layout mirrors the stars in Orion's belt. This celestial mapping not only connects the earthly to the divine, but also underscores the pharaoh's intended journey to join the gods in the afterlife. The ancient Egyptians' belief in an afterlife where the pharaoh, as a deity, would join the sun god Ra in his daily journey across the sky and through the underworld at night is reflected in the orientation and text of the pyramids. These were not merely tombs, but served as stairways to heaven, ensuring the pharaoh's soul could ascend to the stars. The alignment with Orion's belt, associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife, rebirth and rejuvenation, further cements the pyramid's role in this divine narrative.
That is who Osiris is. His image is seen in the sky as the constellation of Orion.
Drawing a parallel, the ancient Mesoamerican city of Teotihuacan showcases similar astronomical knowledge and architectural grandeur. The main structures at Teotihuacan, notably the Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon, and the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, also reflect celestial bodies, echoing the pyramids of Giza's connection with the cosmos. This shared inclination towards understanding and integrating celestial phenomena into architecture highlights a universal human desire to connect with the universe, a theme that transcends time, culture, and geography. The stories these ancient structures tell of humanity's quest to understand the cosmos and our place within it continue to fascinate and inspire. Through their enduring legacy, the pyramids of Giza showcase the ancient Egyptians' remarkable achievements in architecture and astronomy. Continuing our journey through ancient marvels that blend architectural genius with celestial precision, let's turn our gaze to Chichen Itza. This UNESCO World Heritage Site in the Yucatan Peninsula is a dazzling testament to the Maya-Toltec civilization flourishing from the 7th to the 10th century AD. Among its many wonders, the Temple of Kukulkan, or El Castillo, stands out as a symbol of the Mayans' advanced understanding of astronomy and their calendar system. El Castillo is not just any pyramid, it's a four-sided structure with 91 steps on each side and one additional step at the top, totaling 365 steps. This clever design mirrors the solar year, encapsulating the Mayas' profound connection with time itself. But the marvels don't stop there. During the equinoxes, a play of light and shadow creates the illusion of a serpent slithering down the pyramid, culminating in a stone sculpture of a serpent's head at the base. This phenomenon draws crowds from around the world, eager to witness the ancient Mayas' ability to encode astronomical events into their architecture. The descent of this serpent symbolizes the return of Kukulkan, a deity associated with fertility and agriculture. This event likely signaled critical times for planting or harvesting, weaving the cosmos directly into the fabric of daily life and spiritual belief. But the pyramid's mysteries include auditory wonders as well. Claps at the base echo in a way that mimics the sacred Quetzal bird's chirp, perhaps intended to evoke the voice of Kukulkan during rituals. Looking beyond Chichen Itza, we find parallels in the ancient world that resonate with its astronomical sophistication. Machu Picchu, perched high in the Peruvian Andes, shares this celestial alignment, though it reflects the Incan mastery over the landscape and the heavens. Here, structures align with solstices, and the Intihuatana stone serves as an astronomical clock, much like El Castillo's alignments mark the equinoxes. Both Chichen Itza and Machu Picchu stand as testaments to their civilization's astronomical knowledge and architectural prowess. They remind us of the universal human desire to understand and integrate the cosmos into our lives, a theme as old as civilization itself. Through their enduring legacy, these ancient sites continue to captivate and inspire, offering glimpses into a time when the sky was a map, a clock, and a canvas to align our creations with the stars. Diving deeper into our exploration of ancient sites that masterfully intertwine architecture with celestial phenomena, let's venture to the Emerald Isle, where Newgrange stands as a preeminent beacon of prehistoric culture. This Neolithic marvel, predating Stonehenge and the pyramids of Egypt, was constructed around 3200 BC. Its architectural and astronomical precision speaks volumes about the ingenuity of its creators, revealing a sophisticated understanding of the cosmos that challenges our perceptions of ancient societies. At the heart of Newgrange is a massive circular mound,
internal strife and external pressures. The Persians, under Cambyses II, dealt a significant blow by conquering Egypt in the 6th century BC. Although Egyptians managed to regain independence for a time, they were never quite the same force. This vulnerability paved the way for Alexander the Great's conquest in 332 BC. Unlike the Persians, who largely imposed their rule, Alexander cleverly integrated himself into the Egyptian framework. He recognized the power of the Egyptian gods and even participated in their rituals, a strategic move to gain the acceptance of his new subjects. He started the construction of a temple dedicated to the goddess Isis, demonstrating his respect for Egyptian religious traditions. After Alexander's untimely death, his vast empire was divided amongst his generals. Ptolemy I Soter, a shrewd and capable leader, emerged as the ruler of Egypt. In 305 BC, he declared himself pharaoh, marking the beginning of the Ptolemaic dynasty. This wasn't just a change in leadership, it was a cultural shift. This Greek dynasty reigned for almost 300 years, ending with Cleopatra's tragic death. The Ptolemies brought their Greek heritage, including their mythology, into Egypt. They were a rather insular bunch, maintaining their Greek identity through, well, a lot of intermarrying. 10 out of 15 Ptolemaic marriages were between siblings. Most rulers didn't even bother learning Egyptian. Cleopatra was the exception, the first and last of her line to master the language. The Ptolemies, though of Greek origin, understood the importance of respecting Egyptian traditions to maintain their power. They adopted Egyptian titles, participated in religious ceremonies, and even portrayed themselves in traditional pharaonic style. However, they also brought their own Greek heritage with them. This led to a unique blend of cultures, evident in art, architecture, and religion. Temples like the one discovered in Pelusium are a testament to this fusion. While dedicated to Greek gods, they were likely influenced by Egyptian architectural styles and may have even incorporated elements of Egyptian religious practices. But Pelusium's story predates the Ptolemies. It was a key player in the Persian conquest of Egypt in 525 BC. The young pharaoh Psemtik III faced the formidable Persian king Cambyses II. Psemtik, betrayed by his Greek allies and plagued by bad omens, stood no chance. The Battle of Pelusium was a bloodbath. Legend has it, the Persians exploited the Egyptians' reverence for cats, using them as shields to advance on the city. Unable to harm the sacred animals, the Egyptians were routed. Psemtik was captured and ultimately took his own life, marking the end of an era for Egypt. The sands of time quite literally swallowed Pelusium whole. Despite its once strategic importance as a bustling port city and a key military stronghold, its location at the Pelusiac branch of the Nile Delta proved to be its downfall. Over centuries, the relentless Nile deposited silt that gradually choked the harbour, cutting off its lifeline to the Mediterranean. As the coastline receded, Pelusium lost its strategic advantage and its economic importance dwindled. By 1100 AD, it was completely abandoned, left to the mercy of the encroaching desert. The city's decline and eventual burial under layers of sand explain why the temple remained hidden for so long. Early excavations in 1910, led by French Egyptologist Jean Clédat, offered tantalizing clues. He uncovered inscriptions mentioning a sacred enclosure dedicated to Zeus Cassios, but the temple itself remained elusive. Fast forward to 2022, and a team of archaeologists from the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, led by Dr. Mustafa Waziri, were conducting excavations at the Tel Farama site, the location of ancient Pelusium. They unearthed massive granite columns, some reaching a height of 12 meters, toppled and fragmented. These colossal columns, along with limestone walls and other architectural elements, confirmed the existence of the long-lost temple of Zeus Cassios. Mount Cassios, a towering peak located on the border between what is now Syria and Turkey, held immense religious importance for millennia. It was revered as a sacred space by various cultures, including the Canaanites, Phoenicians, and Greeks. For the Greeks, Mount Cassios was inextricably linked to Zeus. The epithet Cassios likely derives from the mountain itself, suggesting a fusion of the Greek god Zeus with a local deity worshipped on Mount Cassios. This blending of divine figures reflects the cultural exchange and syncretism that characterized the ancient world, particularly in regions like Pelusium, where different civilizations converged. Mount Cassios was steeped in mythology. According to Greek legend, it was the site of a titanic battle between Zeus and the fearsome monster Typhon. Typhon, a monstrous serpent with 100 fire-breathing heads, challenged Zeus for control of the cosmos. The epic clash between these powerful forces shook the very foundations of the earth. Ultimately, Zeus emerged victorious, casting Typhon into the depths of Tartarus, a deep abyss in the underworld. Mount Cassios wasn't always associated with Zeus. Long before the Greeks arrived, it was known as Mount Zaphon, a sacred site for the Canaanites who worshipped Baal, the formidable storm god. Like Zeus Cassios, Baal was intrinsically linked to the mountain, embodying the forces of nature, storms, rain, and the fertility they brought. This connection to Baal adds another dimension to the temple's story. It suggests that the site held religious significance long before the Greeks arrived, highlighting the continuity and evolution of religious beliefs in this region. The influence of Baal extended even to the Egyptian pantheon. He became the prototype for Set, the god of chaos, storms, and the desert. This demonstrates the fluidity of religious ideas in the ancient world, where deities and myths were adopted, adapted, and transformed across cultures. The story takes another turn with the arrival of the Romans. Emperor Hadrian, known for his passion for Greek culture and his extensive travels throughout the Roman Empire, took a particular interest in the temple of Zeus Cassius. Inscriptions found within the ruins indicate that he undertook renovations, likely restoring and embellishing the structure. Showcasing the enduring appeal of this sacred site across different empires and eras. The Temple of Zeus Cassius at Pelusium truly embodies the cultural melting pot that characterized the ancient Mediterranean world. It reflects the convergence of Canaanite, Greek, Egyptian, and Roman influences, highlighting the exchange of ideas, beliefs, and artistic traditions that shaped this region. This archaeological discovery provides a tangible link to this rich and layered past, reminding us of the interconnectedness of ancient civilizations. If you enjoyed this journey through time, then prepare yourself for our next adventure. We're delving deep into the heart of ancient Egypt, a land of pharaohs, pyramids, and mysteries waiting to be unearthed. Join us as we explore the life and legacy of Alexander the Great, the Macedonian king who conquered Egypt and forever changed its course. Discover how his reign ushered in a new era of Greek influence, revitalizing the economy and transforming the cultural landscape. Uncover the secrets of this ancient civilization and witness the clash of cultures that shaped the destiny of Egypt.